of week 14, week 15, and our exam. Okay? Is everybody ready for that? I am going to record it just so that we can all understand what's going on, and if somebody's connection craps out on them, they can watch and hear what we said, if et cetera, et cetera. If somebody's late, I don't have to repeat it. Okay, so I'm going to do a screen share. And I'm going to take us to Blackboard, and I'm going to take us, I want to make sure that you are reading your announcements. Now, if you're not on a PC, those announcements might be up in the corner under a drop-down box, but make sure you're reading your announcements. Each week, they tell you what's going on. All right, I want to show you these two modules. We've been working in the weekly assignments module. This week and next week we will have things going on in those weekly assignment modules, but we will also have things that we need to do in this module. It's the final exams module, so you might need to scroll down to find that final exams module in order to do a few things. Okay, so we're still right now in these weekly assignments, so I'm going to go ahead and open week 14 for you. All right, so we do have an end of the semester preview, and I'm going to open that for you. So there are several things to do this week and next week. So when it says week 14, that's this week. If it says week 15, that's next week. And exam week starts on the 30th, which is the very end of next week. Okay? All right. So week 14 is an amnesty week. That means that you may go back and revise one essay of your choosing, either the reflective or the evaluative, for a higher grade. This is encouraged but not required. If you have an A, take the money and run. It's not going to get better than an A. So you've just kind of earned yourself some time off this week. If you have a B and you want an A, this is your chance, okay? And I'll talk more about that amnesty week in a minute. Notice that I didn't say anything about the research essay here. That's a separate project. So really you get to revise 2 essays, which is pretty exciting, okay? But this is encouraged but not required, revising either the reflective or the evaluative essay. So that's an option to raise your grade. If you got a B on the reflective and you got an A on the evaluative, which one do you pick?
The B.
You're right, you revised the B. Good. Okay, fantastic. Now, in week 15, all students will be required to upload a revised research essay into the revised research essay exam space in Blackboard. This is in the exams module that I just showed you. Please make sure you've looked at your feedback on the research essay and know what you have been asked to improve. As a matter of fact, there's going to be a quiz in week 15 asking you for a screenshot of that feedback so that I can tell for sure that you saw that feedback. Okay? And then if you're satisfied with your grade, you do not need to revise, but you do have to upload your research essay into that space. Whether you revise it or not, you have to upload it again. If I don't see any improvements, I'm going to assume you liked the grade you had, and I'm going to keep it the same. If I see that you have made improvements, then I'll raise that grade, and it will be a higher grade in this revised research essay exam, and I'll go back and use the override feature to give you that higher grade on the research essay that was due in week 11. Does that make sense? Questions about that? It's next week, but I want to make sure you're understanding it. Is one of your choices for this week to revise the research essay? No. This week you can choose to revise either the reflective or the evaluative essay. Next week, everybody has to upload a copy of their research essay into this revised research essay exam space in Blackboard. Now, if you like the grade you had, if you got a 78% and you're thrilled with that because it was really hard for you and you're proud to just have passed it and you don't understand how to make it any better, then go ahead and put that in the way it was. If, however, you understand the feedback you've been given and think, oh, I could fix that and make it better, then you make those changes and you put that revised research essay in there, and then your grade on the exam will be higher than that 78%, and your grade for your research essay in week 11 will be overridden with that higher percentage. Does that make sense? Okay. In week 15, students are required to upload a screenshot of any kind of verification page showing that you have completed your student evaluations. I'm requiring it. It's a homework. So students will go ahead and do that. I've also provided you with a link to the student evaluation, so you don't have to worry about finding them or anything like that. Sign-in instructions are at the link. Should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Don't take a screenshot of the evaluation itself. That's private. I only need to see that it's completed. I do not need to see what you have said. They'll compile it anonymously and give me your feedback with your name and everything taken out so that I can see that without knowing that even though somebody got a really good grade, they didn't have a really good time, right? So that's private, okay? All right, student evaluations are required. Optional, you will have an assignment available to show that you've registered for summer semester. And I can't require you to register for summer semester. Some of you may need to work full-time to earn money to come back in the fall. Some of you may be traveling. Some of you may have kids who aren't in school. I don't know the deal. But I will give you a 10 out of 10 on a homework grade if you go ahead and do that, which who doesn't want 10 out of 10 on a homework grade? That would boost your average just a little bit. Students who opt not to do it will not get a 0 on this. However, students who opt not to do their student evaluations will get a 0 on that. This one will just not count toward your grade at all if you don't do it. This one will count toward your grade if you don't do it. During exam week, we will complete an essay in a timed environment. You will type the essay in the Blackboard workspace while in Zoom. My online students must be proctored by ProctorU. Virtual students will be proctored in class during their scheduled exam time. Does that make sense? Hot dog. Okay. I'm going to move us out of this and into our next item in week 14. Here's amnesty and revising week. So let's talk about this. Please go back and complete any minor assignments that you missed. You may complete as many missed quizzes as you need to. You may complete up to 3 missed discussion boards, but you've got to email me and tell me which week's discussion boards you completed late. Generally speaking, it is not worth the effort to try to move discussion grades from a 5 to a 7 because late work is capped at a 7. It is definitely worth it to move it from a 0 to a 7. Please be sure to respond to peers or you'll only move from 0 to 5, right? If you don't engage with your peers' posts and complete the assignment. You would earn more grade improving points by revising an essay than you would by trying to move a 5 to a 7 here. However, if you've missed a lot of discussion boards, if you've missed more than 3, then please let me know. I put it at 3 because that's about how many we've had since the last amnesty. And in the last amnesty, you were offered the opportunity to make up any of them. So that's why it's less this time. If you are in a position for any reason where you need to make up more than 3 because you didn't take advantage of the amnesty last time, talk to me. It is my general policy to grade anything you turn in, but I would need to go back and look for those for you. So we need to talk about it. Okay? You may complete up to 3 missed homework assignments. Again, that's because that's approximately how many there have been since our last amnesty week. If you are further behind than that, please talk to me about it and let me know what it is that you're trying to make up. You may revise either your reflective or evaluative essay for a higher grade. If you didn't turn in either the reflective or the evaluative essay, you can turn that in for a late grade. Okay, so if it was missing entirely, you can turn it in for a late grade. All students will be asked to revise their research essay for next week. Do not make this a priority this week. The only people who should be making this a priority this week are students who otherwise have an A on everything except that research essay. Then those folks can go ahead and get a jump on next week. Please complete these assignments in their original assignment spaces. If you need me to open a quiz for an additional attempt, please email me and tell me the quiz and its week. So if you've taken it twice and you got a 3, let me know. Okay. All right. Now, as I said before, my general policy here at the end of the semester is that I will grade anything you turn in. But I want to talk about this for a minute. Okay? Grading it does not mean it passes. And sometimes when students are trying to get everything done at the end of a semester where they've missed most of this semester, it's hard for them and they don't understand it. And I've had a couple of students say, I'm trying to make up work, and it's work from like week 6 or week 8, and they say, and I don't understand it. And that's because they missed most of this semester's instruction. And when you've missed the semester's instruction, you probably need to take the class again. If you don't understand what the class is teaching enough to do the work at a passing level, you definitely need to take the class again. I love you, but the bottom line for me is if you understand how to do this work and you can do it, you should pass because you don't need the class anymore. But if you're struggling with the skills of the class, then you do need the class again. Okay? And that's the 100% no games, no messing around. This isn't a contest of wills. This is really just, do you understand the materials this class is teaching? And if you can show me that in the assignments, you should pass and move on. I don't care if it was late. If you don't need to do the class again, you shouldn't take the class again, right? But if you've fallen way behind and you're contacting me saying, I don't understand how to do this, I gotta be honest, I can't teach a 15-week class in a couple of help sessions in the last 2 weeks. If I could, it would be a 2-week class. But it's not. It's a 15-week class, and I've taught it. I've been here every week teaching us along, right? And I can't do it again for each individual in help sessions just in the last 2 weeks. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to answer your questions. If you're like, hey, I got a couple of questions and then I'm good to finish this work, absolutely. That's what I'm here for. I am here to support you. I will see you in help sessions and help you try to finish the work that you still need to finish. But if we're at a point where I would have to reteach weeks and weeks and weeks of instruction to you, I can't do it. That's a position where you need the class again. You missed a lot of it, and you should try it again, right? And there's a summer semester coming up to try it again. With that said, and we're having some uncomfortable conversations today, that's okay. The withdrawal date for this class, or for any class this semester, is Thursday of this week, okay? And if you are here are my breakdowns. I put this in the announcements, and I'm going to actually go ahead and share the screen for the announcements. And I'm going to read to you what my advice is. Now, this is general advice. This is not advice based on specific people's grades. If you have questions about your grades, stay in at the end, and we'll find a way to talk about that privately. But here is my general advice about withdrawing, okay? Students with an average below 50% at this point in the semester should talk to me today. If your overall average is below 50% right now, I think you and I should talk about whether you have a chance to catch up and you're understanding the material, or you're struggling to understand the material and are not sure you can catch up. And that's an individual thing. It has to be between the person and me individually. Students with averages of 50% to 69.9%, 100% encouraged to take advantage of the amnesty week, get the work done that you missed, correct things that didn't pass the first time around, and pull that grade up. Please. Push. You are the students who are that old joke about the marathoner who ran 25 miles and was too tired to finish, so he turned around and ran back. If you are that close to passing, push and finish. You don't want to take this class again. You want to make a big push to finish it this time. Yes? Okay. And very often that 50% is because one of the major assignments didn't get turned in, or there's a bunch of minor assignments that you blew off. If you're in that position, definitely push and improve your grades. Okay? Students with grades of 69.5 or higher, you are passing. Don't withdraw or I will poke you in the eye. I can't really do that. I won't really I'll poke you virtually through the internet. But don't withdraw if you're getting a passing grade. That's ridiculous. If you want your grade if your grade is a C and you don't like C's and you want it to be higher, learn from that feedback and boost yourself during amnesty week and push it to that higher grade. I'm with you. I support you. But definitely do not withdraw if you have a 69.5% or higher. That's technically, I think Blackboard will call that a D+. If you are in a position where you cannot see your average, your number average in the grade book, please let me know what you need to see. I have to do that individually. I can't do it in front of everybody here because of FERPA laws. But we can put people in, I think I did this last time, I put people in by themselves in a discussion group, and then I joined them in those discussion groups, and that kept it private. Okay, so we can do that again if you need to see what your grade number is. All right, I'm going to